Hi boys and girls, today we're going to be doing a chart that looks just like one that we saw a couple days ago in our packet, but we're going to be using this chart with the story Sled Dogs Run, which is going to be in your big blue book. So if you have not already read that story, please make sure that you pause this video, you read the story, and then you come back to fill this chart in. You'll need to have read it in order to answer the final question that you'll be doing on your own. So the story that we read, Sled Dogs Run, I really like it. I love all the animal stories that we're going to be reading over the next couple weeks, is about this little girl who has puppies that are going to turn into sled dogs, and she's really excited to get them. She talks about how she trains them and she can't wait to go out on her first run with them, and she ends up getting into this snowstorm, right? And she's a little bit nervous about how she's going to end up coming home. And I love, there's a page in there where the dogs see a moose and they get a little scared, and it's such a great story with amazing illustrations. And I just love the way that the story included all the different information, not only about the dogs but the little girl being a musher as well.
Yeah.
So that was kind of cool. So we're going to take that story, we're going to break it up into those three main sections, the beginning, the middle, and of course the end of the story, and see if we can't try to summarize the story, which means to give us a little snapshot of what's happening throughout the whole book. So at the beginning of the story, I know we have the little girl who's the musher, and what is she doing for the first part of that story?
Well, it goes through a lot of details about how she spends most of the year training the sled dogs.
Yeah, she does. In fact, I think she gets the dogs in the spring, and it's not until the winter that they're able to go out. So the girl spends most of the year training the dogs. Sounds like it's a pretty big job.
Yeah.
To train dogs. Like, I've had a puppy before and I try to train it just to go like to the bathroom outside. But this little girl is training them how to pull a cart and how to know how to go back home and what to do and
how
what
to stay
word
safe.
means stay safe, what word means left, which word means to go right. Ooh, my dog could never do that. So that's a lot of work. You're also going to notice that I mentioned the girl and I don't use her name. The author doesn't use her name in the story, which is really interesting. They just refer to her. She's mainly the narrator in the story, or they'll just say the girl or the musher in the story. So that's why we don't see her name up here. All right, so she spends most of her year training the dogs. What would you say happens in the middle of the story? She is finally kind of...
Yeah, the dogs are finally trained and they're ready to go on their first run, right? And she encounters a really big snowstorm and they're worried about how they're going to get home. So, yes.
I might write, you know what?
I'm going to give you a better marker.
I need a better marker. We'll get rid of that. Yeah. All right, so let's say the girl and the dogs. I like that word encounter. Do you think they know what that means?
Kind of like to meet or to come upon, discover.
You know what? I love using big words. Because why not learn something new?
Yeah.
The girl and the dogs encounter a
snowstorm.
Ooh. And a snowstorm is not something easy when you've got dogs and the wind is blowing, and I think they even said it sounded like howling wolves because the wind was so strong. Yikes. And we could go on. She felt pretty nervous.
Right. And was worried about how they were going to get home.
Extremely worried. So I don't want to give it away and tell you what happens at the end of the story, but we need you to think about, after they get through that snowstorm, what happens next? What happens at the end of the story?
And we're not going to tell you because we want you to read it and you to write down what happens at the end on your own.
You can do it.